The woman had discovered that she had given somebody fake stage money, and now it was given to her in the bank. So she had this fake $1 or $20, and she didn't know what to do. The woman came to me saying she received a counterfeit $20 bill given to her at the bank. She was most disturbed, for she said, the people at the bank will never acknowledge their mistake. Hello, I am Maggie, and thank you for joining me on 8. So what we have been doing is a nice slow crawl through the complete works of Florence Scovel, and we are currently on her book, The Law of Karma and the Law of Forgiveness. And as we were doing this slow climb up the field of spiritual laws, each book builds upon the last. So it's actually just a fun process watching us go, taking the journey of 1,000 miles, one step at a time. So where we left off, she was discussing the woman who got that fake money. And the woman had discovered that she had given somebody fake stage money, and now it was given to her in the bank. So she had this fake $1 or $20, and she didn't know what to do. The woman came to me saying she received a counterfeit $20 bill given to her at the bank. She was most disturbed, for she said, the people at the bank will never acknowledge their mistake. So look what Florence does. She replied, "Let us analyze the situation and find out why you attracted it." She thought for a few moments and exclaimed, "I know it. I sent a friend a lot of stage money just for a joke. So the law had sent her some stage money, for it doesn't know anything about jokes." So when we want to send real money, right? That's large sums of money is coming to a theater near you in our bank accounts. Okay, so I said, now we will call on the law of forgiveness and neutralize the situation. So Florence was the neutralizer. Christianity is founded upon the law of forgiveness. It's a key building block. So if you are dealing with somebody who is professing to be Christian, that is a sign that they are when they really practice the law of forgiveness. Christ has redeemed us from this curse of the karmic law or sin, and the Christ within each man. So where is it? The Christ within each man or woman is his redeemer and salvation from all inharmonious conditions. So the Christ within us, right? Neville Goddard, Abdullah, Joseph Murphy, they all talk about Christ within us, and that's our Christ-like imagination. Okay, so I said, this is Florence, Infinite Spirit, we call on the law of forgiveness and give thanks that she is under grace and not law, and cannot lose this $20, which is hers by divine right. Now, I said, Florence says, go back to the bank and tell them fearlessly that it was given you there by mistake. And she obeyed, and to her surprise, they apologized and gave her a bill, treating her most courteously. So knowledge of the law gives man power to rub out his mistakes. So, when you were in school and you had the teacher writing on the board, and if you had you come up and, do your math or spell a word, if you made a mistake, you erased it and you rewrote it, right? So the knowledge of the law gives man power to rub out his mistakes. In this particular law, she used the law of forgiveness. So man cannot force the external to be what he is not. So if he desires riches, he must be rich first in consciousness. Where must we be rich first? In our consciousness. But like Renee Garcia teaches in Reality Transurfing, manifestation versus materialization, she talks about, You don't want to just keep trying to pull manifestation into like a lower vibrational step. You also need to take actions so you're spiraling up through life tracks. So get your positive money consciousness, your abundance consciousness, but also be taking the steps. For instance, making your YouTube videos, maybe building a class, maybe giving volunteer time in a shelter or something, whatever it is. But you want to practice your consciousness and take steps to move in the direction so the infinite spirit can support you. Okay, so for example, story. A woman came to me asking treatment for prosperity, and she did not take much interest in her household affairs, and her home was in great disorder. I said to her, "If you wish to be rich, you must be orderly. All men with great wealth are orderly, and order is heaven's first law." And I added, "You will never become rich with a burnt match in the pincushion." Whoa, a burnt match in the pincushion. What an analogy. Okay, so she had a good sense of humor and commenced immediately putting her house in order. She rearranged furniture, straightened out a bureau, drawers, cleaned rugs, and soon made a big financial demonstration, a gift from a relative. The woman herself became made over and kept herself keyed up financially and became made over and keeps herself keyed up financially by being ever watchful of the external and expecting prosperity, knowing God is her supply. Beautiful. So you got Jordan Peterson who's always saying, you want to change your life? Go clean your room. The first thing you do is clean your room. And it's like, it is so true, because as we put those effects in order, and I just want to encourage you that if it's a challenge for you to organize and clean, pay somebody to help you, or find somebody in your church that has that organization bug. Ask a friend that has that ability to make environments beautiful. You don't have to take it on, because a lot of times when people have a challenge with being able to make a space orderly and things, they need help. Sometimes they can't see the forest through the trees. And that kind of makes me think of Jenny Spiritualist, who did a show on how people with ADHD have a very difficult time cleaning and clearing their spaces. So all I'm saying is, if it is a challenge for you, reach out for help. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. And it's actually rather wonderful that may be your biggest challenge. But when we get our lives in order and we get our houses in order, the universe can meet us to bring forth our dreams. Okay, so many people are ignorant of the fact that gifts and things are investments, and that hoarding and saving invariably leads to loss. So there is the scatters, and yet the increase, and there is the withholdeth more than is meet, but it's tendeth to poverty. So basically, if you're holding on to things, hoarding things, one other thing too that I watch a lot, is you'll get this beautiful thing and you'll say, "Oh, I'm going to save it. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to wait till this amazing moment, this amazing day, or this amazing event." And then by the time somebody goes back to use it, the item is already the moth ate it, or it's, falling apart or whatever. Today, the moment is now. So bring that beautiful dress out. In fact, that's inspiring me. I got to dress up better for these videos. Bring that beautiful dress out. Try that beautiful, shoe that you don't want to ruin, or whatever it is. Today is the day. Okay, for example, story. I knew a man who wanted to buy a fur-lined overcoat, and he and his wife went to various shops, for there was none he wanted. He said they were all too cheap looking. At last he was shown one. The salesman said was valued at $1,000, but which the manager would sell to him for $500 as it was late in the season. Ooh, that sounds nice. I would like to have that too. I'll have that, as Reverend Ike would say. I'll have that. That's for me. Okay, his financial possessions amounted to about $700. The reasoning mind would have said, you can't afford to spend nearly all you have on a coat. But he was very intuitive and never reasoned. He turned to his wife and said, if I get this coat, I'll make a ton of money. So his wife consented weakly. About a month later, he received $10,000 commission. Woo! That would be a lot nowadays. Can you imagine back then? Woo, high roller. So about a month later, he received a $10,000 commission. That coat made him feel so rich. It linked him with success and prosperity. Without the coat, he would not have received the commission. It was an investment paying large dividends. So you know what? When you're looking good, you are feeling good, and you are just up in your vibration, aligning to higher life tracks. So if a man ignores these leadings to spend or to give, the same amount of money will go into an uninteresting or unhappy way. For example, okay, another story. For example, a woman told me on Thanksgiving Day that she informed her family that they could not afford a Thanksgiving dinner, and she had the money but decided to save it. A few days later, someone entered her room and took from the bureau drawer the exact amount the dinner would have cost. The laws always stand back of man who spends fearlessly. For example, okay, we are just story, and when I break down the points, we will keep, digesting them. But here we go. Last one for this video. For example, story. One of my students was shopping with her little nephew. The child clamored for a toy, which she told him she could not afford to buy. She realized suddenly that she was seeking lack and not recognizing God as her supply. So she bought the toy, and on her way home, picked up in the street the exact amount of money she had paid for it. Man's supply is inexhaustible and unfailing when fully trusted. By faith or trust must precede the demonstration. Okay, so I'm going to read that one more time because that somebody needs to hear this besides me. She bought the toy, and on her way home picked up in the street the exact amount of money she had paid for it. I know many of you who are listening to me have had that experience. Your generosity was like almost immediately paid back. So here we are. Man's supply is inexhaustible and unfailing when fully trusted. But faith or trust must precede the demonstration. One more time. Man's supply, woman's supply is inexhaustible, and unfailing when fully trusted. But faith or trust must precede the demonstration. So faith and trust, Florence Say, and also Neville and Joseph Murphy and Yogananda and Dr. Wayne Dyer and Anita Marjani and Louise Hay, they tell us we must have the feeling as if it is now. Hold that. So that's the trust, and that's the faith demonstration. And then it demonstrates forward. We also are going to hone our beautiful imaginations, our Christ-like consciousness, to hold the vision, or as reality transurfing would say, the script. And you're going to stroll your little booty right down center screen, holding the focus with faith and trust. And then the demonstration is. So as we get better at just waving, maybe not waving our wands or speaking our words or using our imagination or, honoring the laws and working with the laws, not beating ourselves up. Okay, you don't have to get hard on yourself, but do look for how you can improve. That's the fun part about this. The universe has our back, and the universe is there. Infinite Spirit wants us to succeed, and that is why there are so many wonderful people in the world trying to raise the consciousness everywhere. All right, so that's our reading for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and follow me, subscribe, leave your positive comments. I really appreciate it. And like the video. And I would love to hear in the comments what story spoke to you, or maybe after you listen to the video, you're going to go through and boom, story. It's going to click with you like, oh, I got to use the law of forgiveness so I can neutralize this, blah, blah, blah. Watch as these tools begin to just work and lift your life up and increase the love quotient and increase the heart quotient and increase the abundance quotient. I mean, the large sums of money are coming to us. We're so happy and grateful. All right, so that's it. Thank you for joining me, and may you be at peace.